Okay, so this is my third or fourth attempt on doing this live video. Uh, I'm Jessica Johnson, and this is my Module 13 reflection over copyrights, whether it being fair use or not. This module, I must admit, is blowing my mind a little bit. I don't know the legal route on a lot of this stuff. I just know what I took away from it. So when it comes to copyrights, of course, I know it's just a law that protects creators, that make a thing of work. So you've got, music, you've got movies, you've got literature, photographs, all of that stuff is copyrighted. What surprised me the most about breaking copyright laws or not meeting the fair use criteria. So the thing that caught me off guard the most was the fact that, it tells you, yes, educators have a lot of leeway when it comes to using materials. I think that's because of the fact that, educators have a purpose for using that material. They know the nature of the work that they're using, how much of the work they're using, and they consider the fact of, is it affecting the market? So those are some things that I learned and took away of, what you have to consider and guidelines to follow when using any copyrighted work. So some of the guidelines that I thought was a little crazy was the fact that you cannot copy more than 9 times of one single piece of work within one semester. So it got me thinking. I was like, well, that's a little absurd because you have more than 9 children in your classroom. So that kind of, caught me off guard. And, you know, that's the only thing that I, kind of really thought of. And then, the making sure that you count how many words you're taking from, pieces of articles or stories or essays and, keeping and poems. Uh, those are the one things that kind of caught me off guard. Like you have to meet those, number requirements. What examples have I experienced copyright laws or fair use policies? So I work in a school, in an elementary school, and I'm not sure if the school has to have, ask permission to make a lot of copies. But I mean, in elementary school, they make a lot of copies of certain work. So, I think that, if they don't have permission, then of course they're breaking that don't copy more than 9 times. And then, of course, I've been to a school where they do family movie nights, and that's where you just go in and the teacher plays a video. So you're sitting there watching a movie, but I'm pretty sure copyright laws, you're not allowed to, buy a movie and then project it for a large crowd. But then again, maybe they have permission. Like, at my local church, he does, you know, movie nights, and he's, spoken about how he has to go through all these, uh, you know, ropes and all this stuff and signing a lot of papers and, asking for permission in order to do that. Um, when it came to all of those, and I mean, I understand that it's a huge deal about copywriting. And I mean, from what I've learned over the years is you just quote what you're using from the piece of work that you're using, and then you cite that source. I guess, you do still have to be careful about doing that. This kind of woke me up a little bit about copyright, and I know that I need to keep in mind about all the different, guidelines and stuff like that when I become a teacher. I'm definitely probably going to be that teacher who is always in doubt, and I definitely will be the one to ask permission all the time because I don't want to break the law, and I definitely want to teach my students to be responsible and respect other people's things. So, of course, I'm going to always probably be the one to ask permission before doing anything. Um, when it came to the quiz, taking the quiz, I, you know, it was up and down. I missed about it says 17 question. I got 17 out of 21 questions right. And a lot of mine was about videos, sharing videos. And like one of them was copying the 60 minutes videos and um, the media aid tapes of the 60 minutes every week in case teachers ever need it. I guess it goes against the 10-day usage. I didn't realize that there was a limit on that, so that definitely opened my eyes about what to use and how to plan things. Definitely be weary of using any type of um, shows for educational purposes. I mean, on here it talked about a health teacher using a small portion of a show to share to the class. Well, because the television station denies permission, he's in violation. So, I mean, there's a lot of things that I still need to read up on and learn about. I am not up to par with the copyright laws, but I definitely am taking away that I need to be considerate when using other people's material. I read up on some tips for teachers. Always, consider the school policy. Ask questions about the school policy about copyrights, and use links in my lesson plans instead of copying it and pasting it in my lessons. Uh, and just always ask permission. That's the main thing that I took away from this. Always ask permission. So I appreciate you guys listening. You guys are having a good evening, and I will talk to you guys soon.